All right, Robert O'Brien from O'Brien Guitars.
And David Nichols.
And David Nichols.
Custom Pearl Inlay.
That's right. I'm in beautiful Malone, New York. It's about 15 minutes south of the Canadian border. And if you want to know anything about inlay, Dave's your guy. I thought I knew about inlay and how to do inlay until I showed up here at David's shop. Oh my God, this guy does some fantastic work. For example, this guitar right here. Why don't we just talk a little bit about this guitar?
Okay. This guitar represents my 50 years of guitar building for me. I built my first guitar in 1959 in high school wood shop, and at the time I told the instructor I wanted to make a guitar, and he allowed that I could, but I would have to detail it so that he didn't have to let every other person in the shop. Came from a very small town, and the deal there was the instructor knew my family, and my father was a gunsmith and a clockmaker, and so he knew that I grew up in a wood shop. And when I was young, my father referred to me as free help.
Okay. So
when I was early teens, I was doing inlay and engraving in gun stocks, and so it was kind of a natural. And the first guitar, 1959, there was nobody else building, and I took apart an old nothing guitar, and came up with usable plans, and it played.
It sounded good?
It was okay. It was better than the $39 guitar that I was copying.
Sure. And this is your first?
That was my first one.
Nice.
And I puttered after that. I built my second one at Oswego. I majored in industrial arts in college there, and in wood shop, made a guitar there. To the amazement of the instructor, who my wood skills I think were better than his. Okay. But we had a good time.
So most people, when they hear the name David Nichols, associate you with Martin.
Yeah.
How did you get connected with Martin?
Well, in the mid to late 60s, I was doing pearl inlay work. Mike Longworth was doing it, and I'm old enough where my mind is going blank on me, but there's another fellow that was also doing inlay, and he'd hate me for forgetting his name. But there were three of us, period, that were doing inlay. And I ran into Mike down in the DC area at a thing I was doing, and he said to me, David, I'd like to go and pitch the Martin Guitar Company the ability to reintroduce the D45, the pearl guitars.
Sure.
And Mike's big thing was the pearl border. And my big thing was all the old intricate inlays. So he went to Martin, and our agreement was that he would administer the program, and I'd do the work.
Oh, fun for you, huh?
And so from 68 until the mid-70s, I did pretty much every drop of pearl to come out of Martin.
Wow.
All of the things. I was instrumental. We started the custom shop, and the first high-end custom guitar we made for Neiman Marcus, the catalog outfit. Nice. And that had cast gold bridge pins with precious stones on them rather than the ivory that we're using now. And it was a fun ride. I also, along the way, met Larry Seifel. And Larry Seifel was a Maryland inlayer guitar maker, and Larry had I met him at a May Day thing in Washington, and he had a banjo with him, an old Vega, and
you can stop. You want to stop and talk to him?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. If you need to get the phone
is constant here, so.
Ever since I've been here, what, 4 days now, and the phone's just off. Every time the phone rings, I mean, it's just more business for David. And of course, FedEx and UPS show up. We always have to have a quick poker game, and then there's an occasional song and dance where Nadine gets on the big upright bass over here, and we break into some song. Good times. This is fun.
But at any rate, Larry Seifel, I saw him with this banjo, and he and I got to be friends. Larry invented the first CNC machine to cut pearl. He also invented Ablam. And that was a takeoff from the old Japanese lacquer art, where they were using feathers as shell and gluing them on a brass vase. and he took the feathers of shell and put them in epoxy, and designed the machine to cut it.
Wow.
And then said to me, "Do you mind if I go to Martin too?" And there's work enough for both of us,
Sure.
because I knew that regardless of what the machine was doing, they weren't ever going to want to do one.
Right.
And our stock and trade is one of something.
Right.
And we do like from 1 to 50 and smile.
Right.
So at any rate, from 68 on, I worked for Martin, and I'm still doing it.
Right.
And we also inlay for some of the other companies, you know, ones that nobody's heard of.
Right.
Collings and Taylor and Santa Cruz and
Sure.
and pretty much every small builder that there is.
Right.
If you know a guitar builder that is building guitars, you know, and making a living at it, we probably do their inlay.
Right. And as well as most of the professional players out there that have any big names, you've done probably most of their work as well.
We did Johnny Cash's first fancy guitar. We did a series of them for Merle Haggard. We've done every major country musician that there is.
Wow.
And you turn on Nashville Network and see something fancy, it was probably Inlay and Malone.
Right. I was going through David's books. He has 50 years of archives, collections of drawings and artwork for banjos, guitars, mandolins. And one of them had a letter in there from Martin to David from the president of China, I think, was asking for a guitar and needs some inlay or something.
Yeah.
So he's done it all.
We've had fun.
I bet. On the back of this guitar is something really special that I wanted to show you here. Talk us through this, David.
Well, I've had a lot of people in the shop, a lot of different artists, and we had a young man come in, an artist who was finding himself, as you will, and he spent, I don't know, probably a couple of years here. He came in and took the inlay class. His name is Tracy Cox. And I taught Tracy to inlay and showed him engraving, and Tracy taught me how to take pieces of wood and make pictures.
Nice.
And Tracy was, when Martin called and asked me if I could recommend someone to them to do in-house inlay, somebody good, and I looked around the shop, and Keith Sloat Dowden said, "I don't want to go." And the other couple of guys here that could do it didn't want to go, and Tracy said, "Pick me, pick me." So Tracy went and worked at Martin. His wife didn't care to live in Nazareth, so they didn't stay there.
Right.
But it gave him his start in the high-end guitar market.
Right.
And he and Dale Unger are teaching guitar building together now.
Nice.
And you know, it worked out. It's a nice circle.
Sure. What's the symbolism between the two pictures?
Well, that's me. I built my first guitar, looked like this, 1959. That was me in high school.
Right.
Glasses, I had since had LASIK surgery.
Right.
And in 2009, 50 years later,
right,
that's me again.
Fantastic.
And this guitar marks 50 years of construction business of guitars and inlay. The pearl, I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but is a gold mother of pearl. And again, for the 50th anniversary, you use gold.
Beautiful.
And it's got a signature, and inside it's all, the bracing is bordered, and it's inlaid, and the end block is inlaid.
You know, I can't show the camera work, but inside there, folks, is just incredible. It's full of little surprises, little knickknacks of inlays all on the inside of the guitar.
And what most people don't, and it's pearl bordered around the bridge.
Right.
I was the first one, Martin has made a bunch since then, but I was the first one ever to side border a neck.
Right.
But it's pearl on pearl on pearl, and a son of a gun to make, because everything has to line up.
Right.
So
Beautiful work. Beautiful work.
it's just, you know, it's a fun work of art, and everybody in the shop, and there were 6 of us, I think, at the time I built this, had a hand in the production of it.
Right.
And as in any building experience, you have your share of disasters.
Right.
We Lee dropped the mold, broke the sides at one point, which the cry in the shop for years has been, okay, let's see how you're going to fix this.
Right.
And you build guitars and you can't find the cracks.
I can't find the cracks. It's very well concealed. Did a great repair job.
We don't even know where they are anymore, because it's been since 2009, so this has been around. The top, you can't see in the camera, but the grain lines are tighter than a 32nd.
You can't count them. I'll put my glasses on and you can't count them. That's how tight they are.
Close to a 64th. I bought a couple of hundred figured Alaskan Sitka tops to find this one that was the craziest thing I had ever seen. It's the tightest, wildest grain, and it's just a fun guitar to have to show.
Would you say you're more well known as a builder or as an inlay artist?
Inlay artist.
Right.
We build about 50 guitars a year, so yes, I'm known as a builder. Right. But by the same token, when you inlay for every major company, every guy out there that's doing, you know, like you name a guitar builder, who are they using? And it's a kind of a who's who. We do inlay for Wayne Henderson. Right. We do inlay for Steve Kovacic. We do inlay for, and it's all of the people out there that that are building, that know that we'll give them a day or two turnaround and reasonable prices and create whatever kind of artwork they want.
People send you the design, or you design it for them?
Our policy is I will work from an idea on the phone, a rough sketch, or a finished drawing. Or I'll take a finished drawing that you have and make suggestions. Right. So.
All right. In my videos, I always try and offer a tidbit to the viewers, something that they can learn from watching this video. What would you offer as advice to someone wanting to get started in inlay?
One of the biggest things that I find in any of the music art forms is the people that are the most unbelievably talented artists are so one-sided on their brain that they lack the business sense. Right. And you have to, I don't care what it is you're doing, you have to think business first. Okay. So if you have a partner, wife, friend, whatever, that's extremely art talented and you're extremely business talented, it will work. It will work, right. I am extremely fortunate in that I can run a business, and I can run a business well, and I'm art gifted enough to be able to do things, but I also surround myself with people who are better artists than I am. Nice. Keith Sloat Delton, that works for me. I could say to Keith, well, I think we'll put a lizard in this one, and he does it. He does it. Or, right. Kiefer, I need a picture of so-and-so, and there it is sketched. Right. Now, I can draw, but can I keep up with him? No. Can he run a business? We are a team, okay? Right, right. My wife is unbelievable at business aspects. I've married her 10 years ago, and since I married her, I don't have to do all of the book work. Right. I don't have to think. I don't have to keep the records. Right. And that has freed us up to do things. To produce. Become something, you know, in the last 10 years we've grown quite a bit. Nice. And without straining ourselves. Right. David is also a player. Like most guys, right? We're all players. But David's a very good player. Does the bluegrass circuit. So, when do you do that? From May to what? September, October every year? October, November. All right. So, keep an eye out for David and his band coming to your town. You'll really enjoy it. It's worth seeing him play. It's worth seeing the guitars. And if you ever need any custom inlay work, Custom Pearl Inlay is the guy. David Nichols will do it for you. The band's easy to remember because it's David Nichols and Spare Change. There you go. Well, David, I've been here for 4 days. I've been working beside Kiefer in there, watching him work on pick guards and things. Fantastic experience. Thank you for the opportunity. Our pleasure. It's a rare day I don't learn something. That's the other thing. One of the other things in business is always keep your eyes and mind open. Right. And you know that, and I know that. Absolutely. Because we've shared tips, and it would be a poor thing for me if I didn't pick your brain a little bit, because we're opposite coasts. We build different styles, right? And there's so much to learn from each other. Yeah, I've enjoyed it. So, me too. Well, thank you. My pleasure. All right.
Oh, I know.
You
I had
don't
no
know
idea.
either.
I just make it up as I go along.